back here on this rock here in Central Park. I gotta be honest, I am so homesick. I cannot wait to be back on the lake in the boat doing this. I like New York City, but I miss home. I'm hoping to be finished with what I'm working on and out the door by Thursday at the latest. So Friday morning I should be back out on the lake. But as we dig through Matthew from 24 on to the end, verse by verse, we're at the place where Jesus has been praying for God to take this from him, and he knows it's the only way. And the disciples, they're just confused. They're sleeping through it. They know that something's going on, but they really aren't taking it seriously, is what it seems. Because I believe if they really knew soldiers were on their way, they would definitely not be sleeping. So we're just going to pick it up where we left off, 26:45. Then he came to his disciples and said to them, "Are you still sleeping and resting? Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. See, he who betrays me is at hand." And while he was still speaking, behold, Judas, one of the 12, with a great multitude with swords and clubs, came from the chief priests and elders of the people. You know, I know these verses have nothing to do with the rapture of the church. I'm just going to bring it up for a second. I apologize for that, because it is relevant. Is that I think one of the biggest sins of the pre-tribulation rapture teaching is that people won't be prepared for this event. They won't be prepared for the betrayal. The disciples were sitting there and they weren't ready for this betrayal. Jesus was ready for it. He even said, like, wake up because the betrayer is coming. And he's betraying the Son of Man into the hands of sinners. And I say that because there'll be a moment in time when we become outlaws and we will be betrayed into the hands of sinners. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. See, he who betrays me is at hand. Because that's what he was dealing with, is he was dealing with this point in time when things began to switch, when the betrayers, when those who are the sinners, those people were beginning to betray what it is Jesus came to do, because again they were being led by Satan. Satan was in Judas, and he tore him up, and when he left him, Judas just went and killed himself. But here he's being bold, and he's, because he's got Satan in him, and we have to see that the end times will be as fierce as this. Satan knows that he is in the end. Satan knows that he has reached the end of the line. And the only way that he could possibly in his own head think that this could be victorious for him is he has to become the prince of the earth. He has to dominate the earth and be the king of the earth, be the Antichrist, essentially be like God. I will ascend to the high and I will sit on the throne like God, is what he said in Isaiah. And that's what he's trying to do. So as we get to the end, it's going to be just fierce. So those of you who are against that, who are fighting against that, who see these things coming, you're going to be betrayed, and you have to begin to see those things, that the betrayer is at hand. The liar is at hand. The thief is at hand. The murderer is at hand. And you have to begin to see those things. Because the things that we see in the physical realm that Jesus is dealing with is he's dealing with betrayers, and he's dealing with people who are on his side, but they're confused and they're not really much help in this moment. As a matter of fact, they're no help. Even when he asked them to just sit and pray with me, they're no help at all. So he's dealing with this physical realm, but what's really taking place is the spiritual realm. Is right. The people are pawns. The people are puppets. They're all playing a game. The chief priests, the elders, the soldiers, Judas, the disciples, they're all puppets being played in this spiritual war, and they're all being manipulated for this all to play out the way that it's playing out. And the world, it doesn't change. Satan works the same way then as he does now. It doesn't change. He'll manipulate, and he'll cause things to take place that'll cause those righteous saints to be confused. Meanwhile, the sinners are out just betrayal. Father betrays son, daughters betray mothers, is what the Bible says. It's about betrayal. He is the betrayer. And he's leading this. In the circumstance of Jesus, he is in a spiritual war. He is being bound by physical things because of the power of the spiritual world war that is taking place around him. He's being captured by physical people who are being manipulated by Satan himself to do this thing. And as we see the world around us, we have to see it like that. We have to begin to see that these physical things that are taking place, people betraying, people lying, people manipulating the church, people taking advantage of the church, people preying on the innocent. These are evil things that have entered into the world through spiritual ways. And now we're dealing with that thing. And this is another example of that. And the closer we get to that day, there's going to be betrayers. Be careful, because what you're going to have is you're going to have the people around you who are going to be very confused because they work the same way. They're on your side, and you're saying, hey, these things are coming. They're like, what? No, it'll be okay. You know, who'd you pick on the Final Four this week? I mean, that's what it'll be like. But in the spiritual realm, it is fierce, and it is hot. And it is taking over this world. And we're staring at it in the face as we watch it take over this world, the evil in this world. I mean, people are just losing their minds because they ordered a hamburger without cheese and somebody put cheese on it. They just lose their minds. As we get closer to that day, God has changed this world, and we're in a new season, and people, the whole world knows it, but here we are, just doing the same old, just like the disciples were doing. It's bedtime, Jesus. Why are we even, it's so late. What are we doing here in the garden? We should be in bed. And that's what we will be doing. We'll be like that, or we'll be part of the betrayal. One of those two. And the sooner you can wake up, the sooner you can realize it doesn't have to be that way. You could actually be prepared. You could see these things coming for what they are. Just like Jesus saw. He's the only one that saw it. Judas didn't even know what was about to happen. I don't even think Satan knew what was about to happen. Jesus knew what was about to happen, because he lives outside of time. He's been in the beginning, middle, and the end all at the same time. But Satan, Judas, the disciples, nobody knew what was happening. It was confusion. But Judas was terrified doing these things. Felt confident in it. But as soon as Satan left him, I guarantee the first thing that went through his head is, what have I done? And he went and killed himself. That's what Satan does to people. Tears them up and then leaves them to go kill themselves. He's a murderer. He seeks to devour. And he's leading this charge that Jesus is dealing with. And he'll be leading the charge that we'll be dealing with at his second return. It's very important you begin to see that for what it is. I hope this video helps. Any insight, definitely put that below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. Feel called to support this channel with Patreon. That link is also below. The most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests. So please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, love guns.